Hey everybody, you're tuned in to VNN and we got another story coming to you, this time from the New York Times. Basically, if you're going to the New York Times for information for the Republican primary race, you're probably going to get a little bit of mixed results here. And we cite this specifically because if we look at their results in the 2012 Republican election in the Virgin Islands in the Republican caucuses, you can pull up their site and it says that Mitt Romney got 26.7 of the vote. Now, we know, and that's obviously correct, Ron Paul got 28.7, uncommitted 33.8. That's pretty basic, that's pretty standard out there, but what does jump out and get my attention at least is by Mitt Romney's name, there's a check mark, even though he didn't get the popular amount of the vote. So we look over and see that Mitt Romney took 7 delegates and Ron Paul took 1. Okay, well that's all well and good. Let's see how they treated the Minnesota Republican caucus by comparison. So we look and see that if we are saying that the majority of the delegates gets their check mark, we can see that Rick Santorum got 16, because it's right before he dropped out, and Ron Paul got 18. But Rick Santorum got 44% of the vote, and now he has the check mark. So the check mark doesn't apply to delegates, and when it would have applied to Ron Paul, it applies to someone else. Mitt Romney, Rick Santorum, anyone else. And we have one more thing to look at. If you just go to their basic state-by-state primary results, you can see there's a big nice list where the winner is highlighted with their color and a check mark. And we go down to, again, the Virgin Islands, where we know that he won the majority of the vote. Literally, I don't actually know how you can mess this up, because now, if you look on this page, you can see, obviously, the majority of the percentages for the popular vote, which, again, meaningless, gets the check mark and the color. And right there, Ron Paul 28.7, Mitt Romney 26.7, but Mitt Romney is still highlighted, and he still gets the check. Alex, what do you make of this?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking right here at the Minnesota. It says Ron Paul has 18 delegates, Rick Santorum has 16. Obviously, Rick Santorum's dropped out of the race. No one's quite 100% sure what's going to happen with his delegates, although since he has the evangelical support, obviously it would make more sense that it would go towards Ron Paul. But cast that aside, they give Rick Santorum the checkmark, as you mentioned earlier, and then in the Virgin Islands, even though Ron Paul won the delegates, in the Virgin Islands, they give Mitt Romney the checkmark, even though he didn't win the popular vote. So they're somehow trying to justify just switching philosophies whenever it doesn't apply to the candidate. They apply it whenever it's convenient for them, and that's not really real reporting. They are reporting the numbers, but they're trying to deceive the viewers in such a way that it paints a picture of something that isn't really going on. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I mean, that's pretty straightforward. And, you see, I think it's what I call is big flash vote. This is an example that something I saw. I work at a sandwich shop in town of Clayton, North Carolina. And as part of a new menu, they just refurbished everything. They put a big giant sign on the window. It's got big delicious looking sub, and at the top it says meat and cheesy. It's a description, and then their, name and motto under it. So twice, almost 3 times now I think, someone has come in and asked for the meat and cheesy. That is not a sandwich on the menu. But they come in and say, hey, what's on that poster? What is that? That looks good. And I tell them, oh, this is actually this sandwich. It's an Italian sandwich. And they go, oh. They had no idea what came on it, but because that sign looked delicious, they came in and bought that sandwich having no idea what they were about to buy and went along with it and still not even knowing what was on it. Even after we told them, they said, oh, that sounds fine. No idea what you're buying, no idea what you're getting, but it's big, it's bright, it looks good, let's go for it. So when you report like this, people see that highlight and that check mark and they say, great, I'll take it.
Right, exactly. They see the big check mark. They see the big thing. You see, Romney has all the big money, has the big advertisements. That's why he draws in a lot of those people. His policies are a little bit unclear and such. I mean, that's for you to decide, obviously. But it's just big advertisement clearly gets you, better chance at winning just because you can get that swing vote with big, flashy advertising. Anyway, I think that pretty much does it for this segment. You got anything else to add?
Nope, that about wraps it up.
All right, this has been VNN, and as always, have a nice day.